Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. So in this video, I'm going to do a quick wrap up of everything that's task related already been changed and added into the game, my thoughts on it, and then I'm going to go into the way I think it should be fixed. Now this is probably going to be a fairly long video and I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible, so bear with me, but I'm going to be covering a lot of points and hopefully you guys can agree or at least give feedback on the things I'm covering. So guys, without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So guys, before I go any further with this video, I know I've been pretty harsh towards casuals in the past, and I do apologize for that. I do believe this game is for everyone. I do believe casuals should be able to play this game and enjoy it. And hopefully by the end of this video, you guys can agree with some of the points that I make, with specifically where the task direction's gone with Battlestate games and in this game. So now with the patch 11.7, they redid a heap of the tasks currently in the game. And some of them, whilst are okay, others are absolutely trash. And I'm going to go over the majority of them right now. So first off, starting with Prapor. Now pretty much everything up to Punisher Part 1 is actually not too bad. Killing 5 scavs on customs is no biggie with handing over 2 shotguns. Now previously they did make it that you had to loot this in raid, but they removed that requirement. You can now just buy it again. So really, you could just fuck off that last bit. There's no requirement to just buy something and hand it straight across. Unless it's going to be a loot in the game task, I think that should just go. Make it for your first task, you just got to go kill some scavs on customs. Happy days there. Overall, this is a bit of a waste of time buying 2 shotguns and handing them straight across. When it was loot in raid, I went into factory, looted in about 1 raid, and then I was out there. Good to go. With checking and all these other tasks, they're all pretty much the exact same. But Shootout Picnic is now requiring you to wear a balaclava, and that's perfectly acceptable. I think that's fine. It doesn't affect your loadout on the gear. It's literally just chucking on a balaclava. I think there was an issue that they were selling out from Ragman level 1, but they rectified that. But yeah, simply just grabbing a balaclava, it means it doesn't affect the rest of your loadout, and it means you can just go kill scavs. The problem is there's a lot of people on woods right now trying to get their 14 scavs, and it can be quite painful, as I learnt today when I went back in there on a new account. Next we've got delivery in the past, the same as before. Bad rep evidence, same as before. Ice cream cones, you can literally just buy these from the flea market and hand them straight in. Postman Pat and Shaking Up Teller are exactly the same as before. And then after that, that's when you get across to the Punisher series. Now, Polycom Hobo opens up around the same time as the Punisher series starts. Kill 30 scavs on customs in a time period between 5 and 9 PM. It's a very short window, and I've found that unless I'm going to go out of my way to do it specifically, I'm literally just going to just do my normal raids on customs, and for some reason I'm in there between 5 and 9, and kill some scavs, it'll get done. I know for a fact there's nothing on after Polycom Hobo, but I do think it's too narrow of a window to be able to kill scavs. Now moving over to BP Depot, same as before with the Punisher series. Now this is where the headaches begin. First up, this one used to be kill 20 scavs on shoreline. Simple. Now they've made it even longer. You need to kill 25 scavs. The fact that you have to kill 25 is frustrating as enough, because sometimes you are fighting other people to get to the scavs, and this one takes a fair while to do. Then they chuck on the requirement of using an AKM. Now for shoreline, that's not a bad gun to use. You can put a scope on it. You can fight close quarters, long range. It's not a bad gun overall, and it only requires Prapor level 2 to buy it. So I can say that it's okay to do, and out of all the Punisher series, this is probably the one that's not that bad. But moving over to Punisher Part 2, now you have to kill 20 scavs on shoreline. So now it's 45 in total in a row instead of 40. And now with the second one, you need to use a silenced weapon and hit them from 70 meters out. With the mask, you can literally just buy them off fence, or you can find them in raid if you want, or the flea market, and hand them straight across. No requirement to actually loot them yourself there, because there's no in-raid detection system to say that you looted them yourself. But this is quite frustrating, because there's only certain spots in shoreline where you're going to get those 70-meter kills, like the bus depot, the power station, and down near the gas station. If you're lucky, road to customs if you see them at the right angle, and down at the bunker you can sometimes get some. So like, you can get those kills at range. It's just a frustrating one, because it's already hard enough to try and find scavs. Then you got to move yourself into a location. I get it. It's part of the series, but it's too many requirements. Killing 20 scavs, 70 meters, and with a silenced weapon. I just think it's too much. Personally, it's frustrating enough to killing 45 scavs in Shoreline in a row. Next, we've got Punisher Part 3. Now, this is probably one of the ones that everyone had a bit of a laugh over. You've got to kill 20 scavs on customs with an AKS-74U with a distance of less than 40 meters. There's 4 requirements on that one. Now, of all the things, it's really frustrating because AKS-74U, particularly later on, it's one of the worst. It is the worst AK. It's one of the. I like having it on factory for a bit of fun, but overall, it's the worst AK. And you're gonna go into customs, try and get close to scavs, which there's not too many that you're gonna be killing from range, but it's just a very, very annoying task. Right, we'll leave it at that. Moving over to Punisher Part 4. This one is it's okay, I guess. You got to kill 20 PMCs on Shoreline, which if it's the quiet time of the we'll call it a season, the wipe, you can struggle to find PMCs, and you must wear a balaclava and scav vest. So I found this not too bad because a balaclava doesn't take up any of your helmet slots, so you can still wear a helmet. And the scav vest, I literally just went with a 60 round mag on my gun and one in my vest, and then just had a spare one in my backpack. If I needed to shoot more than 120 rounds without enough time to switch out a mag from a backpack, it's, yeah, alright, but this one's not too bad to do. But then going back into woods with a 12 gauge shotgun, which I went in today, that's just, it's one of those annoying ones. Like, it's very descriptive as well. It's got like going back with the AKM or the AKS-74U. I'm going to go into a better idea to how to handle these quests at the end or towards later into this video. But I'm just trying to show you that these quests are quite annoying. It's annoying enough that you've got to do so many requirements to get 19,000 XP. Because like the way that if this quest is going to work properly, you should be like, all right, I feel like doing a Shoreline run, and I might as well do this quest while I'm there. So I'll chuck on the balaclava and scav vest, and then you'll hunt down some PMCs while you're there. The problem is it's just so descriptive, and then once you even get those 20 PMCs, then you've got to go over to woods and get these shotgun kills. And on woods, it's like Mosin Central. The amount of times I died to a Mosin or an SVD on woods was just astronomical, and it just frustrated me because it was like, I'm just trying to kill some scavs here, and old mate here's on a Mosin on a hill, another guy over there with a SVD with the PSO, and I'm just getting lit up, one taps to the chest everywhere. So it was just a painful experience. And if I'm feeling the pain here, then I'm sure you guys are too. Now, with handing over the knives, if you don't have to loot them yourself, you're literally just going to buy them off the flea market. It's exactly what I did, and then chuck them straight across. So you could drop that part of the requirement from this quest, and it would just be kill 20 scavs on woods with 12 gauge, kill 20 PMCs on Shoreline with wearing a balaclava and scav vest. Done. Moving over to Punisher Part 5. I've only just started this one, but with this quest, you could literally just delete all this top bit right here and just go kill 25 PMCs with an RPK. You know what I mean? Because like all this I just bought off the traders, handed it straight across. Why even do that? Like, it's just a money dump. Why don't you just say, all right, you need to hand over 500,000 rubles and kill 25 PMCs with an RPK, because it's the exact same thing. I think if they're going to change quests, they need to change them in a smart manner, not just be like, oh, we'll just add an extra requirement onto it or something like that. Now, I'm not up to Punisher Part 6 yet, but I can tell you right now, it's the same as before where you got to hand in the dog tags, but you also need to get 20 headshots with an SVD. Now, with an SVD, killing 20 PMCs with headshots on any map, that's actually quite doable. It shouldn't take you too long if you've already gotten up to this point after all these other tasks. You should know how to hunt down some PMCs and shoot them in the head with an SVD. The problem I'm finding is it's so specific. Instead of just saying get 20 kills with an SVD, making these extra things on top, I get their point. They're trying to slow down quest progression, but at the same time, it's no longer like, oh yes, I got that kill because, oh shit, I didn't get that kill with a headshot. I'm going to show you another task very shortly, and you're just going to be like, yep, I get the point. Because if I miss someone by a millimeter, I hit him in the chest instead of their head, it doesn't matter. The guy still died. I'm still happy he died. And the task, like the person I'm doing this task for, being Prapor this time, shouldn't really care if I shoot him in the chest or the head, because he's dead anyway. If I'm going to go kill those people that need to die, why does it have to be a headshot? If he really needs me to shoot him in the head, after I kill him in the chest, I'll walk up to him and put a bullet in his head for him, and then we're sweet anyway. He's not going to know the difference of which bullet wound went in first. Now, the Grenadier quest, I found this really frustrating. I was literally running around factory, shooting some people in the legs until they couldn't run anymore. I'd throw a grenade at their feet, and instead of blowing them up, I'd kill myself. I only got about 4 PMCs into this, and this is probably one of the only tasks I actually cheesed with my community, just because I was so friggin' frustrated with it. The amount of times I had to leg people, try and throw grenades to get these guys killed, it was just brutal. Now, Perfect Mediator, this is a stupid quest in my opinion again, because it's like, yes, okay, at level 35, I can accept this quest. This quest requires you to get level 4 on all the traders. So at level 35, I get a quest that says at level 40, you can hand this quest in. Stupid, right? Like, I don't know. This one is just, it makes no sense, but it is cool that I get a thick weapon case. Like, don't get me wrong, sick to get a thick weapon case and 17,000 XP at level 40, but at the same time, like, why not just say at level 40 you get a thick weapon case and the experience? Whilst, yeah, you need to level your traders up. As soon as you hit level 40, you're not thinking about this quest. You're like, shit, I need to get my Ragman to 4 and Mechanic to 4 because I want to have them at level 4. The quest isn't giving you the motivation to do it. I'm sure by level 40, you've spent the money on all the traders anyway. So I'm sure you're getting my point here. Now, the quest after Grenadier is Insomnia. You got to kill 30 PMCs between 2300 and 0400. And then the one after that is Test Drive. Those quests haven't changed at all. And yep, fair enough. I can see the point of these just because you got to kill 30 PMCs during the night. Makes sense. And that quest is perfectly fine. How I see that. If it's going to be has to be during nighttime, why not make it like 9 or 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. and just give that extra window though, so people can actually do it during the nighttime hours, because it's still the night in the game anyway. But it's so specific that this is pretty much limiting you to nighttime factory, and then sometimes you go to interchange at nighttime because it looks like daytime anyway. Now, moving over to Therapist, all these tasks from Therapist are exactly the same and hand in straight away, just as you did previously. Even like car repair, you can just buy all this stuff off the flea market and hand it in. So none of these have really changed, and there's nothing really to stress too much about with changes. I'm not going to go through these ones individually, but I think you've gotten the point on a lot of the ones I spoke about with Prapor. They all kind of go into the next person as the examples I've already shown. Now, with Skier, there are no changes really all the way down until you get to Chumming. Now, with the quest Chumming, this one is probably, it's just a really frustrating mission, because not only do you have to drop these gold chains off, which I think is perfectly sweet. Dropping off 3 gold chains on 3 different maps, it gives you incentive to go to those maps. That's perfectly fine. It gives you something to do whilst you go into, say, customs. I'm going to go head to the 3-story doors and place down some gold chains. Now, while I'm there, I might get into some action and kill some people. That's sweet. Someone might be running the marked room. But hang on a minute. Now I need to go also to interchange and just keep running between 2 a.m. and 10 a.m. in hope that I run into a PMC to get those 10 PMC kills. Now, that might work because other people might be saying, hey, it's between 2 and 10 a.m., so I need to go into interchange to go get those kills. And so they might be chasing down PMCs as well. The problem is, it's like, they've already got a mission here. It's to go and get the gold chains and drop them off. Why does there need to be another part of the mission that's totally separate to dropping off gold chains, and it's only specific to the one map? So you've got to drop gold chains off on 3 maps, but it's only specific to the one. Why not say, go on any of these 3 maps, kill 10 PMCs between 2 and 10 a.m. That would make more sense. I'm just trying to say, like, to me, it just doesn't feel right. The rest of Skier, however, is pretty much straightforward. And it's exactly how it was before. Now, moving over to Peacekeeper. Now, with these tasks, they're all pretty much the exact same up until you get to humanitarian supplies. Now, this task was a okay task, I guess. It makes sense, I guess, because you've got to go in and you're marking the tanks. And whilst you're marking the tanks, you're dressed up as a UN operator and killing scavs. So that one is fine. I didn't really find too many issues with that. I could try and stack it up with the Punisher task 1 and 2 to get those kills whilst I'm wearing the scav uniform. You can double up and double whammy those 45 kills you've got to get there. And you keep going until you get to the next task. And when you get to Spar Tool Part 1, This task drove me bonkers. I was so just annoyed at this task because I was using a shotgun with slugs. I put a PKO6 scope on it, and I'd go and I'd shoot a scav in the chest, like by a millimeter, and it would hit him. I'd kill him in the chest instead of the head. And so then I had to find another scav, and then I'd kill all the scavs, and I might only killed half of them in the head or half in the chest because it was just a little bit too low. And I was getting fucked up just because I was shooting. I was trying to over aim my shots to make sure I got those headshots. It's the same as before where it said about getting the headshots. If they're dead anyway, what does it really matter? I could literally just go up to them and shoot them again in the head, and they're not going to know the difference of the shot. Like, I don't know. I might be going too far here. But you can understand my frustration on some of these tasks. Now, with Wet Job Part 6, they've made it now you've got to get Sniper level 9 instead of Sniper level 7. I think this is just purely to slow people down from getting the M61 ammo. Yep, sure, whatever. But then with Lend-Lease Part 2, this has probably been the most annoying task I have ever experienced in my life. I have gone into labs over 30 times, and I have checked every single vertex spawn, and I have found one. I have found one in 30 lab runs. And for about 10 of those lab runs, I had no competition. There was no one else in there. I checked all the spots 100%. And for the other 20, I can fairly confidently say I checked every single spot about 16 to 18 of those 20 times. If it takes 30 times to find one, and say it's going to take me, let's say best case scenario, I get it in the next 20, and it's taken 50, how the hell is anyone ever going to complete this task to move on to this storyline if they're a more casual player? They're never going to get enough lab runs under their belt to ever get past this task. It is just frustrating. Now, I'm going to skim through a bit of the rest of this because it's starting to go fairly long, but fertilizer, these are all found in raid, and import, these are all found in raid. I actually found these ones pretty quick while I was trying to find the vertexes because there's plenty of RFID and VPX spawns within labs. Now, moving on to Ragman. Now, this task, it's just stupid as hell. Stupid. All right. Ragman level 3 sells the fleece hat. So everyone trying to buy fleece hats right now on the flea market is paying an extortionate amount of money because they want to get this task done. Now, if you die, you have to go buy another one. And it's like they're selling on the flea market from anywhere between 30 and 100,000 rubles, depending on what time of the day. And it's just an annoying task. And even if you wanted to flip them on the flea market to help out the community, you can only buy 5 per reset. So if for everyone who's already at level 30, put 5 up per reset on the flea market, and say there's already 1,000 people up, at level 30, which I doubt it. It's probably more like 100. That's only still 500 per reset if every single one of those people put them up would go onto the flea market. Now, you can find these in raids, but if you don't know that this one's coming up, you're not going to find many yourself, so you're still going to be paying that extortionate rate on the flea market. Now, the rest of them aren't too bad, besides Living High is Not a Crime Part 2 has to be found in raid, and the problem is, by the time you've already gotten through all these other Ragman tasks and gotten to Living High is Not a Crime Part 2, you've already found a heap of these, but you can't hand them in. You have to now find them once you've done all those tasks. If there's going to be a find in raid, it should determine that you've already found it before and had it sitting in your stash that entire time. If they can't code that, all right, fair enough, but then the task shouldn't be there, because the amount of people, like the amount of times I had to do a raid specifically hunting these items, it took so long, right? And not everyone has as many hours in the day to play this game as I do. It's not fun. If you're specifically trying to get tasks done, it's just not fun to try and get these things done. And if you want to do it passively, you'll never get half of these tasks done, because these tasks if they're so specific that you actually have to just say, I'm going to go do that task. All right, so now that I've gotten all that out of the way and I've gone through all the tasks and have picked them apart to a fairly decent detail, so you guys can understand where I feel like there's massive things lacking and all that, I want to go over how I think all this overhaul needs to go. And yeah, this might be right or wrong, but I think the majority of us can agree with the majority of what I'm about to say. So here it goes. The leveling shouldn't really affect the majority of the gear. 90 to 95% of the gear should become available after 20 to 30 hours of gameplay from the average player. So if you're more of a casual player, if you've been plodding along, doing some quests, killing some people, If you're an average style player, like you're not sitting on, say, the 5 or 10% survival rate, but you're sitting, say, the 20 to 30 mark, we'll put that as the average bracket. I don't know. You should be able to get to the majority of the gear in about 20 to 30 hours of gameplay. And then, and that should get you access to the majority of the items, the 90 to 95% mark. And this should be possible by completing the main storyline tasks. Now, I know Battlestate Games is going to add their own storyline eventually, but you can use the tasks that are already in the game. Like the loot and scoot kind of tasks where there's fixed items that are in the game, say a briefcase that you pick up, you take, and you leave the raid. Like, for example, the bronze pocket watch, or like the books on the Ragman series, like any item like that. The ones that you can specifically pick up, leave the raid, and then hand it in. And then those are very simple because it's an item that you can loot. It's not RNG based. You just have to go into the raid and get those items. During this process, this is where you learn the game. You learn the maps. You explore, and these should take you around the Tarkov universe so you can experience everything within Tarkov. Now, after about reaching that level 40 mark, which it doesn't even matter what the level is. You can make the level whatever. After you complete to the end game section of the game, 90 to 95% of the gear should be available, which means you should be able to use nearly every single gun with majority of the attachments and majority of the armors to give yourself good protection. And this will mean that if you start the game later in the wipe, it shouldn't take you too long if you avoid a bit of combat and explore the map, get those tasks done, and then you'll have access to the majority of the gear. Then, the way I see it is there should be a different category of tasks which will get you those final 5 to 10% of gear that's left. This isn't the game-winning GG gear that it's more just min-maxing the items. So an example would be this. The shooter series with the Mosin, where you have to go and get the specific kills in certain ways with the Mosin, that unlocks all the extra Mosin mods. That is an example of a specific set of tasks. And there should be similar ones for every type of gun in the game. So if you like M4s, there should be an M4 series, and that will get you the final modifications for M4s, and you can have these really pimped out, cool looking M4s, which might have that extra 1 to 5%, recoil reduction with that extra, 5 to 10 ergonomics. It's not game-breakingly OP, but it gives you that opportunity to have that little bit of extra gear over that guy that's only just hit the end game. This then makes it more enjoyable because people can actually customize their character by doing different task paths that they want to. You could have a pistol one, so the people that like using pistols, they start off with their base pistols, and you have a mission like Stir Up, which, by the way, I didn't talk about before, but getting 6 pistol kills late in the game is going to be an atrocious for a new player. You could have a series of quests for pistols, and then you can get those really cool pistol mods as you complete through that series of tasks. And then that way, it's more about customizing a character in an MMO environment with the survival aspects that we already have. And this game, I know not everyone's going to agree on this idea. Most people just don't like my ideas purely because I'm a content creator and streamer. But it's just making it so the casual players still get to play with the majority of the items. They'll still get to use an M4. It might not be the fully pimped out one, but then they might be able to get some of the items to pimp it out on a flea market or through barter trades or whatever. And then everyone gets to have that fun. I know earlier I took back my words and I apologized, but guys, I don't know how I can express it anymore. I think this game has the potential of being an amazing game. I think right now, though, with the tasks and the way they've done it, it's gone down the entire wrong path. And Veritas made a really in-depth video saying how we should care about tasks. And he made a follow-up video yesterday or the day before talking about how the changes were made. And it wasn't in the vision that he said how we should actually care about what tasks we complete. And why, and then the reward should be suitable to the task at hand. So guys, I know I've said a lot here, but I'm really passionate about this game, if you can't already tell. And I really feel like they've taken a massive step in the wrong direction. And it's really unfair to a lot of the players because people aren't going to want to play this game if there's another wipe anytime soon in patch 0.12. Or they don't even want to play it right now because they're doing the same tasks. There's no real reason to do it because there's not much new gear added to the game. And it's just not an enjoyable experience doing these same tasks. And they're even more grindier and frustrating. So I'm going to finish this up here, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for future content. I pump out videos all the time. If you got any Tarkov questions, feel free to hit me up on my live stream or down in the comments below. I do stream on Twitch every day pretty much. So guys, thanks for watching. And lastly, I'll see you next time. Whoa, for the longest time.